Dear students, welcome to my next video on Home They Brought Her Warrior Dead. Thank you for your love, support and inspiration. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe if you haven't already for the latest updates on this channel, One Stop All Poetry Solution. This is a beautiful poem that I am going to discuss with you today. Hope you like it too. So let's start with the poem. Home They Brought Her Warrior Dead by Alfred Lord Tennyson. This poem is written in the third person narrative. The dominant theme in the poem is grief. It offered much comfort to Queen Victoria when she lost her husband in 1861. This was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson during the Victoria era at the time of wars, especially the Crimean War. The predominant theme in the poem is that of grief and how the grief is finally overcome as the woman comes back to reality. Home they brought her warrior dead, she nor swooned nor uttered cry. All her maidens watching said, she must weep or she will die. So the warrior, the woman's husband, was brought home. The woman's husband was finally brought home to the native land. She nor swooned, she did not faint, nor uttered a cry. Here, uttered a cry means let out a noise or shout. Her grief was so overwhelming that she did not faint or make any noise. All her maidens, here it may refer to friends, also it may point out at maids at her service who were present at her service, watching the grief, watching the dead body, the corpse of the brave warrior, they all cried out, she must weep. That means the widow must weep or she will die. They believed that if she did not grieve the pain, the pain would eventually kill her, because she is not allowing herself to express the natural emotions. It has been so shocking for her that she has, as if she is in a kind of a stupor. Then they praised him soft and low, called him worthy to be loved, truest friend and noblest foe. Yet she neither spoke nor moved. So whatever the people present there are telling, there is nothing, there is no word, there is no expression that can move the widow. They praised him, they praised the man, the warrior, soft and low with variation of tone, because they were equally aggrieved. And when you are crying or when you are speaking in a very solemn tone, there is generally change in the variation in your tone. So sometimes it is soft, sometimes it is coming, the words are coming out as if in a whisper, sometimes it is in a muffled voice, sometimes it is very low. So they were discussing and they called him, they noted that the warrior was someone who was worthy of love and respect. The people around the warrior, the family, spoke about the good man. He did many good things. They praised him, and the memories are slowly coming back to their minds, and through these reminiscing of the memories, they are trying to bring out that pain through the tears from the widow's eyes, so that she can be relieved of the pain and come back to the reality that she, unlike the present time that she is behaving in. Yet she neither spoke nor moved, stole a maiden from her place. Yet she neither spoke nor moved, stole a maiden from her place, lightly to the warrior stepped, took the face cloth from the face. So she neither spoke nor moved, as she remained in her stupor-like state. No words or gesture could move the wife to express any emotion. No amount of reminiscence seems to bring tears to the widow's eyes. stole a maiden from her place. One of the young women who were present along with the aggrieved family, she moved from her present place and went to the warrior slowly with light steps and took the face cloth from the face, yet she neither moved nor wept. She took off the covering, the cloth covering the corpse of the warrior. Yet the appearance, the blank appearance, the lifeless appearance of the warrior, the woman's husband, did not shake her even a bit. She neither was moved, there was no expression of emotion, nor did she shed any tear. The widow's stupor surprised for the third time every onlooker as she refused to move or shed a tear. This last line of this third stanza is a probable indication that she was in such a state of shock that she couldn't believe that it was her husband who was dead and he was not going to return ever again. In the final stanza, we see that there was the presence of a nurse, an aged nurse. Rose, a nurse of 90 years, set his child upon her knee. Like summer tempest came her tears. Sweet my child, I live for thee. So finally, the nurse has been able to break through that stupor, to break through that phase where she was not able to, she was refusing to let out that pain. The nurse rose at a time when everyone failed to move the widow. The summer tempest, this word is very important. It is a simile, as you understand, that the tears have been compared to the summer tempest, the storm of the summer. And it has been compared to the ferocity of the storm in the summer. The last line, sweet my child, I live for thee, echoes of the parental grief when Tennyson lost his own son Lionel. Though there is not loss of the child, the loss of the husband is predominant in the poem, yet the theme of loss cannot be ignored on a biographical note. After the child was placed on the knee, as you see, the widow realized how helpless the child was. She determined herself to live for the child, and then she grieved for her loss. It is very important to note how Tennyson shows the concern of the mother clearly in these actions, as the poet aims to portray the wife caring more about the livelihood of her child after the death of her husband, more than his death. When the child is in the most need, of their love and affection, when the father is dead, now the child has only the mother to take care of him or her. The lady catches on to the reality finally. The woman has finally back to reality as she cradles the child, because the child is the only reason for her existence. Her husband will not return again, but it is the child whom she needs to take care of, whom she holds on to for her existence. So this poem, as you see, is not a very complex one, yet it is a strong poem which expresses the feelings of grief and emotions on a very high level. The predominant theme, another of the predominant themes of motherly love and care and affection is very clearly expressed here. The figures of speech that is predominant here and relevant is the simile that I have already stated. You will not have any difficulty, hopefully, regarding this simple poem. And when you try to visualize the picture, you will see that it is quite easy for you to be at that place when you will see the aggrieved family and you will be at one with their loss and feel the pain in your heart. I'm sure it will move you to the very core. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you will like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. If you have anything further if you want something more to discuss regarding this poem, the author's background, the poet's background, or the biographical details, or any other words or phrases which you have confusion of, some other literary devices which you find that it needs to be expressed, or it needs to be explained once again, please feel free to share, and do stay tuned for further updates on this channel. Thank you once again.